Welcome to Fortitude and Flow, the podcast, conversation that gives you mental strength and inspiration. Today I'm talking with Christopher. We're going to talk about graffiti and drugs and addiction and spirituality and healing. So welcome.
Thank you very much.
It's going to be very interesting today to hear your story. I know it's been
Yes, of course.
hard, but you have endured a
I
lot.
appreciate.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe you can just introduce yourself a little bit and you can start from the beginning. Where did you grow up?
Yeah. My name is Christopher Rydberg. I'm 40 years old, born in 1985. Originally from Stockholm City. Now I live in Åland Islands, between Finland and Sweden. And I live with my girlfriend and 2 children and a dog. And I drive bus as my occupation.
Very good. And where did you grow up? Was it in Sweden?
Originally, my mother, I was raised in Gothenburg, the second biggest city in Sweden, up till I was 6 years old. Then my father and mother separated. My mother stayed in Gothenburg, and I moved to Stockholm with my father and his new girlfriend. So from 7 years old, I lived in Stockholm. So up to 4 years ago, I moved from Stockholm to Åland Islands. So practically, I lived most of my life in Stockholm, and all of my friends and relatives are in Stockholm.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my city basically.
And I was thinking then, you were very young, and we can talk about when you got into the graffiti. I know you were into art and stuff. And how was your upbringing in school? Well, how was that for you?
The upbringing, what I remembered from that young age is that I had trouble to stay focused in school. Some people call it ADHD, or something that sort of kind of basically I couldn't focus and take in the teaching correctly. So I always was daydreaming or wanted to do something else instead of studying. So I always searched for other things that excited me. So
It was hard to concentrate, probably. I've heard when you have these type of
yeah,
things and other
exactly.
type of things too. It's hard to sit still as well as they require you to do in such a long time. It's crazy, actually. We are children, back then, so you should not.
Of course, yeah.
Mm. But it's the school system is like one shoe had to fit them all. So unfortunately, you you get forced if not one way or another. So, but did you have a lot of friends back then, or what kind of kid were
Yes, of
you?
course. I had very easily to make friends. I was very outgoing, positive. I could be friends with anybody. That was my biggest strength, and still is. I'm very, um, how to say, social. I can make a conversation with anybody, and that is good or bad. It's how you see it. For me, it's led me to different connections, and it just gave me something positive back to have that strength.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good gift to be able to get along with most people and creating a good rapport and talk to
Yeah,
people. You can use that everywhere in the world, and yeah, in your own life, and then also in your
yeah.
career and stuff. So that's actually very good. I agree with that. I'm the same there actually. So it has been giving me a lot of good things in life. Uh, so, uh, how did you got into the graffiti and that kind of the art?
The graffiti, my graffiti journey began in when I was 13, 12, 13. I went to, how do you say, seventh grade. Seventh grade, I learned, um, I was becoming friends with a Finnish guy at the time. He he and I became friends at school, and he showed me that there was paintings um, in the area where we grew up, out in a like abandoned, um, how do you say,
Abandoned
warehouse
blocks.
type of location. So we went there on our breaks from school and looked around, and there was big paintings and a lot of spray cans on the floor, and it was just the experience was really cool, and it got to me, and from there on it just expanded slowly.
It's awesome. Graffiti is one of the elements in hip hop. I don't know if you're into that though, but it's very
Of
huge
course.
and it's a very important part of all the elements. So a lot of times, at least in Norway, if you were into one of those, you are into more of them. At least the whole
Yeah.
crew or the whole gang you were with, someone usually did at least one out of those type of things, 5 things. And it's nice to
Yes,
create
that's
art.
true.
And back then, it was probably not even allowed to do it. We called it in Norway "gå ut og bombe" when you were
Ex-
going out.
That's what we called it too. Utobomba
Yes,
in Swedish.
and it was an exciting time. It was fun
So
actually. You felt a little bit rebellious and stuff, and it was
yeah.
good times with your friends, basically, and expressing yourself. And I'm wondering then, um, what did it give you to start with graffiti, and what does that art mean to you?
It means a lot. It's basically my whole life. Yeah, it gave me companionship with other people. I felt a belonging. I felt brotherhood. I experienced a lot of adventures, close relationship in circumstances that is very stressful. You when you do something that is in the society illegal, and you maybe get chased from the police or something like that, you kind of get a strong bond with that other person who is in the same situation. So you're getting so much closer than maybe someone else, some other friend that isn't doing this type of thing.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it was
Yeah.
illegal back then, and I guess I know also that Sweden were very early out with good hip hop there, and I don't know if your graffiti was that something with hip hop to do, or was it something else for you? Were you in that society?
Graffiti for me is connected to hip hop. So
Yes, yeah, exactly.
we were listening to hip hop while doing it. And
Mm.
I'm from the generation that how do you say, there was a first generation that was inspired from the movie Style Wars
Yes.
from New York, but I didn't see it until late when I was an adult. My inspiration came from graffiti movies that was made under the 90s, late 90s. So from 97 to 99 there was a couple of Swedish movies. And those graffiti movies we used to watch on VHS tapes. And they were a huge inspiration for us as a teenager to to go out and do the same thing. But back then we were so-called toys.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we weren't good at all. We were like, yeah, just practicing this. So it took some years to get good.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it's something you develop
Yeah,
the skills in that. It's not that easy. And but I do know
no,
I know that Sweden was very early on with very good hip hop. And so I'm guessing the society in that culture was growing meanwhile you were doing this. And like you said, find inspiration in movies from the US and the music and the whole vibe.
yes,
And it's wonderful to be in.
yeah,
Probably one of the best things in the 90s was hip hop, huh? At least for
of
me.
course.
It was really cool. Do you have any favorite groups back then from Sweden, or what did you listen to?
A Swedish hip hop group that was a big, I'm a big fan of is Loop Troop.
Loop Troop, yeah. Yeah, I
And
remember
they
them.
are connected to graffiti as well. They are, um I think they used to be graffiti writers themselves. And they talked a lot about painting and painting trains, go out and bomb. They were kind of rebellious against the system. And they had a record that was called Modern Day Symphony. And we used to listen to it a lot back then when before we went out painting. And many songs from that album had graffiti elements in it. So that's one band I really can say that was an inspiration.
Awesome. Yeah, they are good and all good group. I remember them, actually, I do.
Yes.
So what do you think that this environment, how did it shape you?
Uh, it shaped me in a lot of different ways. Um, it made me more appreciated of the surroundings and of the relationships. It gave me a lot of different strengths in handling situations when it become very stressful. Sometimes you could get caught, and it was yeah. Then you had to improvise to stay cool and just stay low key and maybe not talk so much. Yeah, yeah. Some
Y-
people. couldn't handle that, and they would maybe rat on somebody else, snitch in
Snitch,
quotation, yeah. So it could easily go very wrong if you didn't could handle yourself in that
Do
type
you
of
have any
situation.
do you have any particular good stories about something you remember, or some kind of art that you did, something
Yes.
that was very special for you? Do you have any?
Are you preferring a story about getting caught or getting chased?
The one that is more action. We want to hear that.
Yeah, there is a couple. There is one time just recently, 10 years ago. We were painting a train outside of Stockholm, and I parked my car next to some houses. It was on top of a hill, and down the hill there was this train we're gonna paint. I had some bad intuition that maybe it's not a good idea to do it, but I did it anyway with two other guys, and we started to paint that train, and suddenly, in the act of doing that, we heard somebody screaming on top from that area of houses where we parked my car. So they saw us painting, and they got upset, and they started to yell at us to stop painting, and we were just ignoring that and kept on painting. They called the police on us at the same time. So when we were finished, we went up to the hill to get to my car to drive away from that place. So we came to my car, and those people had blocked my car with their car, so I couldn't get out from the parking lot. And
You're
that
stuck.
was a very stressful situation. How could I get free from that? So I just had to be very how do you say determined, and I said to that guy who was in the car, if you don't move that car, I will drive and smash
Yes.
your car to get out. I don't want to hurt you in any way. I just want to get out from this situation. So please move your car before I hit your car with my car. So he listened to me and backed off, and we were taken off from that place. And they were screaming and taking pictures. You know, they were so, yeah, very aggressive just for us painting. And
They did not appreciate your art,
so,
your contribution at all, huh?
no.
No.
And I don't really understand how people can be so aggressive towards someone just putting paint on something that can easily be removed and cleaned. But that's another story. So we took off from there, and there was two directions we could go. And those guys said, please go straight ahead. I said, no, let's take a right. But they kept on insisting that I should go forward. And that was a mistake because the police just passed us. And they got
Yeah.
our registration and the description of the car, so they saw us. So they just made a U-turn and followed us. And I just went aside because there was no chance to run from them. So I gave up. But I was smart. I took the photograph of my, how do you say, camera. I took picture of the painting. I hide it under the seat, so there wasn't any evidence of that. But there was some spray cans in the car, unfortunately. But they stopped us, and one of the guys who was with us was under the influence of alcohol and weed. So he started to scream and make a lot of mess out of this situation. In that particular situation, I'm always just very humble, and I don't make any arguments with the police. I let them do their job, and I do my job, and there's no need to be any aggressive or violent um, in that situation. That's one of my strengths, just to take it easy when the
Shit
police
hits the
is
fan.
in.
You remain calm.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do, because it just makes everything worse if you resist with authority. And they took us to jail, and we spent the night over there. And this situation ended up in the newspaper. They posted our story online with our faces.
Wow.
We had a trial about this also that took a couple of years to resolve.
Couple of years.
And yeah, because those two guys didn't show up on the court in time,
Oh.
so they just postponed the date, and it made everything just difficult for me. And I, in the end, had to pay the fine because
You had
I
to
had
pay
a
the
job
fine.
and they didn't have a job. Yeah. So out of this mess, I learned my mistake is to not paint with people you don't trust, and park your car somewhere far where you're not in. Yeah,
we're not gonna get
jeopardizing
stuck.
yourself. Yeah, not near some people's homes.
At least you made it to the news.
So yeah,
Yeah.
there was a lot of headache of this situation. So
I bet when you think back about it today, you can have a laugh about it, right? I hope so.
of course,
Yeah.
it's a story that I tell, but
Yes.
for the most part, I don't ever get. I I haven't been getting caught so often in my graffiti career because I always stayed very how do you say? I'm very
You were more
cautious.
subtle.
I'm very yeah, and
And
I never ever did paint being under the influence of drugs or alcohol. It's
no,
always those
exactly.
people who use that type of element that is having problems.
Yeah, I mean, can make things worse at least, especially if you get caught. And
Yeah.
but today in Stockholm or Sweden, is it any places where where you can go and paint, where it's legalized, where it's fine? Because
There
there
is
are
a
more
couple of
places.
places.
that people
Yeah.
actually appreciate it today more, because it's can be really good art out of it, and quite nice too.
Yeah. They have a festival now in the end of May. I think there is a big yearly graffiti festival in Stockholm that is called Spring Beast, and
Okay.
there is a lot of different artists from around the world that is coming there to paint big paintings. So it is a 3-day festival where family and friends can visit and have a good time. So I highly recommend that if you're interested in street art or graffiti.
Yeah, actually, that's really cool. That's something
Yeah.
to very interesting to see. Urban style and people and graffiti is probably a lot of good people there. Good festival,
Yeah.
I'm guessing. You going there?
Uh, Maybe I should go there. I don't really know, but I used to go there a lot before,
Mm.
for a couple of years, and it just grew bigger and bigger by each time. And the bad thing is that the government of Stockholm they just want to shut that place down, and there is a big movement that is fighting against that. Let the culture of
Mm.
graffiti be alive in Stockholm. Why are you going to destroy that? And
Yeah,
the
it's better to
government
have.
of Stockholm is just they want to make that area into housing projects.
Yeah, of course they do. That
So
happens
it's just
everywhere.
about the money for them.
Yeah, yeah. It always is, huh? But I think that is very important for people to have art and culture and ways to
Yeah,
express themselves in a legal way, where people come together and they
of
actually
course.
share a passion for something, and that's extremely important. And if not, it's going to end up on buildings and places where they don't want to have it. So, I mean, these festivals are a
Yeah,
really good place to have. But like you
yeah.
said, they're probably thinking more about building up some apartments they can sell or something like that. Very normal everywhere, though.
Yeah, because one thing for sure is that graffiti can't be stopped, and it
No, not at
will
all.
never be stopped. It will just take different kind of paths. If people cannot paint legally, they will do it illegally.
Exactly.
People will always be needing to express themselves. So the government should just let that be something. Yeah, understand that people need this, and don't fight it. Just accept that it's a part of society.
Totally
Yeah.
agree. And yeah, we're going to go over to some a harder, darker, I would say, part of your past now.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about drugs and addiction. So, how did that start for you? Did you get involved in that?
That was I s- I got involved with drugs and addiction from kind of early stages when I was uh, 13, 14. Uh, I got in the same time I got introduced to graffiti. We also smoked a lot of weed and hash, and we used to listen to reggae music. It started very innocent in some kind of way. We were a lot of um, f- different friends from different areas in Stockholm, and uh, it wasn't necessarily that my friend from a bad neighborhood just did it. It could also be a friend from a richer neighborhood who smoked with us, and we found this drug, cannabis, that we really enjoyed, and from that it developed to something else. When we began to go to the gymnasium, we experimented with other drugs, going to rave parties and going to parties to other people's houses. We started to mix drugs and taking ecstasy, for example, and that when you did that, some kind of line was broken, so that made you think that, okay, if I tried ecstasy, I could try mushrooms, or someday this guy maybe had some cocaine, and you just said, okay, I'll try that too. Everything just got very um you
Out of
didn't have
hand.
an yeah.
Yeah, it escalated very fast, it seems, and did not think about the
Yeah,
consequences.
no, and we were just in the mindset of experimenting, and after a couple of years, I noticed for myself of like, what the hell am I doing? I'm still smoking. I'm still using alcohol. I'm still trying harder and harder drugs. And that really scared me. But I
And
couldn't manage to stop with my own power. It just kept on going.
it
Yeah,
became an addiction for you.
exactly. I didn't know the term addiction at the time, but I knew in my heart that I wanted to stop with this behavior. And I also had some other behaviors that I wanted to stop. I was stealing a lot too. I wasn't a big criminal, but I did some criminal acts
And
with stealing different things I needed because I didn't have the money to support
uh,
myself.
do you think the ceiling became a product because you were using drugs and you were in that type of an environment and stuff?
Yeah, in some kind of way, but the stealing already began when I was 7 or 8 years old because I grew up in a very poor household. So
Okay.
I remember from the early years, was stealing marbles to play with friends in school. When if you remember those little marbles,
Yeah, those
uh,
marble balls or the small one.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't have the money for it, so on my lunch break from school when I was 7, I used to go to the store and steal those. That's my earliest memory of stealing something, and that made it normalized for me to continue doing that when I didn't have money to buy it. So that kept on going till I was a yeah, adult. So when I was a teenager, I also was stealing a lot of different things, from clothing to stealing spray cans, stealing food, drinks. You just It was normal, and I didn't really think that it was some kind of uh, addiction or something I should stop doing. yeah, it was normalized for me. That was something I stopped also when I stopped using drugs.
But was there never any consequences of you stealing anything? You never got caught?
S- there was some consequences. For the most time, no, because uh, I always was good at it. I was good at stealing in some way, but there was some times I could be chased out of the store, so I was pretty fast. So I always run away from the situation, and I'm also I also have to confess that this stealing took to a higher level that I did did some breakings at apartments as well with friends from school.
Yeah, and then you are more into the, I would
So
say, heavier
yeah,
criminality kind of level, and yeah, which is not
so
good.
yeah, that's not something I'm proud of, but it's is something that it escalated to because I normalized this stealing.
So you can say basically that because you were using drugs and then you were stealing and you were normalizing the whole way of living for you, and you just justified it with
Yeah,
escaping
basically.
into drugs again, maybe. I'm guessing.
And yes, we should not forget why I was doing this, because the root cause of all of this is my childhood trauma, my separation from motherhood, my mother, and I had problems at home as well. Uh, Made me rebel against the society and search for some type of fellowship and love in this bad environment. So I was very outgoing and very didn't really care about anything. Very yeah,
You know, it's very normal,
you,
unfortunately, that when you get separated from your mom and then the divorce and you had to move,
yeah,
it's traumatizing for a child, and all the changes and getting new
yeah,
friends another place. And like you said, you were growing up in a poor family, and you want to fit in with friends, and
of
it's
course,
hard. And then when you find, like you said, some positive thing for you, like the graffiti thing, but it was other things there that was not that good. And it seems to me it escalated quite fast, and you become the company you keep.
yeah,
So that's something. I think it's very important for everyone to remember that people who you have around you, or is this good for me or is it not good for me? What kind of problems do I get into and stuff? So it's easy to sit back and reflect, of course, but I always, even today, for me, I'm like thinking, what kind of people do I have around me? Because it's so easy
yes,
to get into something that you don't even stand for, or you don't want to do. It's easier when you're an adult to say no, of course, but and you think more about the
yeah,
consequences. But I do still think that I mean, if you are going out with people who only enjoy to sit at bars and drink alcohol and doing drugs, you're gonna end up like that. If you like to hang out with people who are going to the gym and living a more healthy lifestyle, or do music and other things, graffiti, then you will become like that. You know, people can relate definitely to this, like you said. Can you describe how it was for you to be a part of something like the graffiti thing, and how did you feel as a child then when you have to move and the separation from your mother? And can we go deeper into how did you really feel? Have you been working a lot with that as well?
Yeah, the thing about my mother and my separation from my that situation is I kind of put uh, I didn't really felt on it. I blocked it away. I
Mm.
Some mechanism inside of me made me just to shut that down and to forget about it. And I was young at the time, so I couldn't really take that in as we adults can do and reflect on that. So for many years, it was just some kind of memory until I uh, got contacted by my mother when I was a teenager. And then I remember I got very angry, and all of those emotions came up again, and I just wanted to. I had so many anger issues at the time, so I just was very resentful and bitter and angry at her at the time. And I couldn't really understand why she did that to me at so young age. But now, when I'm older and I have talked to her about that, I understand why she did that, and that she always loved me no matter what. And it was just that she didn't really feel good at the time. She had some personal issues she had to take care of, and the best thing she could do was to let me go, to release me, and have a better life in some kind of way. But I had to face other issues growing up with a stepmother I didn't really like, who was controlling, and my father, who was had issues as well. And I got traumatized by my father as well, because he found out that I used drugs, and he got violent with me. So he started to abuse me, and very, how do you say, he punished me for using drugs, because he didn't want me to go into that road. So he could use different things to. Uh, it's a really hard word to use, torture, but he could use knives or sticks to beat me with.
Wow. Yeah.
It got really very, very dark.
I mean, there are other ways to help people get
Yeah,
out of drugs. I mean, you could probably go to a place and get professional help. That would be
yeah.
the best
So
solution.
yes. So that's my second trauma in my life from my father. So then I have two traumas from my mother and my father. So he in his world thought that if I would use violence towards my son, that I would stop using the drugs. But that made everything just worse. That
Yeah, I
made
probably
me
use more.
continue to, yeah. So it's really important to talk about this, why I kept on doing the drugs, and the addiction just grew harder and harder. And I couldn't see it at the time why I was doing it. I was just angry at the world, basically. and yeah, it took a lot of years till I could understand everything, and then I hit rock bottom when I got my psychosis
And that was the breaking
in
point for you.
2009. Yeah, that was the breaking point of me waking up, and I would say that's when God stopped, put took the handbrake and said, "It's time to go to a different path in life." So everything was meant to be, and God has always been in my life, but I didn't listen to the signals. It had to take that route for me to wake up. Yeah.
Can you tell us about the episode with the psychosis? What happened, and what had you? Was something that led up to it, or was it some drugs, or?
Yeah, I was using cannabis constantly for many years, over 10 years, basically daily. So that had a huge impact on um, my brain, and I was living in this uh, mist fog in my consciousness of having that substance in my body so many years, with also mixed doing drugs on the weekends with other substances, and so that in combination, just my brain couldn't handle that. It was too much. So I remember that one that year, 2008, I started to feel very different. That I felt that this reality we are living in wasn't feeling so real. It felt that I was a character of some kind, and I felt um, I felt very strange, and that I didn't have. I was really in this reality, and I was more inside of my mind than in real life. So I
You
started
felt
to
numb.
hallucinate a little bit. Yeah, there was a bit of hallucination that everything was just fake. It was a made up world. Probably I could I could say I felt that something else was thinking for me. It wasn't myself. It was like I got thoughts that wasn't mine. And so I searched up a psychologist. I went to the hospital, I remember, and I explained everything that I felt to him. And he said to me, "I think you have having a psychosis uh, because of the use of drugs from the main point, but also that I know in my from my mother's side there's a lot of mental illness as well. So I could puzzle that I'm very receptible to mental illness. So that goes hand in hand. So I got really scared. So from that day, I searched for help to stop my addiction, and I got the help.
That's very good to know, and I
Yeah.
think we can take that later. But how was it for you to admit to yourself that it has gone this far, that I really need to change my life now, and really need to get help? How do you come to a place where you can accept that for yourself, and how do you actually um admit that to yourself and the emotions, and how do you process that?
That's a good question and a difficult question to answer, but I had to reevaluate my life, what led up to this point. Why did I use drugs? And now, when I'm going to stop with this, who am I really? Who is Christopher without these drugs? Because for this many years, especially under the teenage year, when you're searching for your identity, I be using a lot of drugs, and I I haven't really got to know who I am really, in the sense of myself, and I had a fake personality in some kind of way, so I had to be reborn again in some kind of way to get to know myself. Who am I? What do I like? Uh, what do I enjoy in life? What is my goals? What is my purpose? So everything crumbled at that time, and I had to basically start a new life, uh, inside out. Yeah, to
But how do you what kind of because I really don't know, but I do know that I've been addicted on Sobril. It's anxiety medication, and I was pretty on too. I used that too much. I've used it, unfortunately, with alcohol. But the thing is, going off drugs, I can guessing is 10 times worse, even probably. And so the question is, when you're dealing with the abstinences, it's one of the most horrible things I experienced, at least. And which methods do the doctors help you with to get off of these substances and drugs? And how was your experience going off it? And and I think also when it comes to the whole process, because you were so young when you started this, and now you are in adulthood, and now you, like you said, you need to find yourself. Who am I really? And that's a very
Mm.
scary journey to go through, and a very long and hard process. It can be.
Yeah.
So maybe you can talk more about
So
that then.
yeah, of course. When I met this psychologist, who said that he made a statement that I had a psychosis, he also prescribed some medication, but that's just a different. That is also drugs in some kind of way. That's just helping for the moment. So there was a psychosis medicine I used for a while, and also antidepressant. And I then was got some recommendation to search for 12-step programs, anonymous narcotics or anonymous alcoholics, 12 steps meetings. So I went to one of those meetings, and that helped me to stay clean. So, but I didn't stay clean right away from 2009. It took a couple of years with a lot of relapses between, till it finally 2013 was the year it really I decided not to ever use any substances again. So it took 4 years for me to understand that I can't use drugs never again. And it was a very lonely road to go through, because I had to get rid of my old friends I was using drugs with and replace them with new behaviors and new friends and new activities. But one thing that never left my life was graffiti. Even when I used to do graffiti while doing drugs, now I used try did graffiti without drugs, and I noticed that graffiti can also help me stop doing drugs, because now I had a hobby to focus on and to develop my creative ability. So that kind of saved me to have something to do when I felt the urge to do drugs. When I felt to do something that I shouldn't do, I always just went out painting instead. And then I could be safe for one day, and felt that, I don't used yesterday. I didn't take any drugs. I did something creative instead. So I replaced that. So by the time it just became my life, and then I found people in the graffiti community that didn't do drugs and was out painting just for the creative sake. Because from the beginning of the history of graffiti was against drugs. So it's nothing to do with drugs. It's just a small part of it, that there is some people who do it. And I've met all kinds of people in the graffiti movement, and if you're not in it, you can easily get lost and think that everybody is doing drugs, but that's not true. There is so many variation of people doing graffiti that it's mind-blowing. But since 2013, I haven't used any drugs or substances at all. And now I'm up for, how many years is it? 7 plus 6, 13 years is coming up.
Wow, that's really good. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You should be proud of yourself.
Thank you very
That's
much.
really strong.
Yeah, it's a long time, but I don't count the dates as I used to do before. It's so integrated with who I am to be clean and sober that I don't really think about it anymore. But it took very long time to come where I am. And I went to a lot of 12 steps meetings, and I did a lot of inner journey healing to
That's very strong of you. And I think that, when you talk about, like you said there, it seems to me that, I would say, the drug part of it was basically, I think it's maybe safe to say now that the drug part of the graffiti thing was because of the environment and the escape from your traumas, probably.
Yeah,
and it just escalated. Like you said, this you can
just
do graffiti
escalated.
and not doing it. So I mean, come on, like you said, it was against drugs
Yeah,
as well. So in the graffiti environment, so
and I could see a pattern as well, that when I used to go out drinking and bomb the subway. And always when I did that combination, I would always get caught from
yeah,
the
exactly.
security guards. There was a special task force vandal squad in Stockholm.
It
There
was.
was That's a different story, but they were specialized to search for graffiti writers and to track
Huh.
them down and to take them. And I encountered them several times in the subway and in the commuter lines, and I got chased by them. I get caught by them. But one thing I noticed is I asked myself, why do I get caught so much? Because I was using alcohol and I was
Mm.
reckless. I didn't, when you're using that substance, especially alcohol, you lose the sense of, yeah, how do you say it? You just,
Yeah, you are not very on guard on anything. You are
yeah.
more relaxed. You are not thinking. Then you don't really think about consequences at all, and you fuck up easier. Safe to say, huh?
So I got caught many times.
And I think that now we can go to your healing journey a little bit
Yeah,
more. How did your spirituality enter your life, and what does that really means for you?
my spiritual journey began from the day I had my psychosis. I would say that that was my turning point to go inside. So it began with the 12 steps meeting, and inside of those meetings, I started to find God. God, not God inside uh, in that fellowship, but I found God inside myself. And that was just a tool for that time to come over the addiction. And that led me into spirituality, and I started to get interested in bigger questions in life. Um, I always been a searcher for answers about
Mhm.
different kind of subjects, all from what are we really, and is there life on other planets, and I got into conspiracy theories very early on, listening to David Icke and a lot of other people. So I grew a big interest in that. So for many years, I've been reading and I've been listening about different topics and just put everything together and found out the truth about the most things. But back to my healing and that journey, it took many years to go through what I've been avoiding in my life, and I had to face my own traumas. I had to do my inner shadow work. I
Yes.
had to write down uh, in
What
those
is
12
shadow
steps
work
meetings I had.
for people who don't know? What is that? Shadow work.
I could explain it like that you have to face your uh, inner fears and to bring them up to the light, and to some people write them down, or some people are just visualizing them and having a awakening in some kind of way, and it can be really very how do you say, it doesn't really feel good, and something you have been avoiding for most of your life, that needs to come up to the surface, and to reevaluate yourself, uh, your motives, your inner darkest secrets. So that has been something just escalating year by year for me. And I've done my shadow work with writing, journaling it, put my emotions on paper. So that is some type of way to a tool to heal yourself. And I've been reading about it also in many different books.
And it's actually a very good way because you get your emotions you have on the side, inside, outside. So and you
Yeah.
can see them from a different point of view. And you kind of like separate them a little bit from you in a way. And it's easier to think about them in a different way and process them. And I'm guessing we have probably been like you said, when you are in those meetings, but also maybe you've been working with a psychologist as well to process stuff.
Yeah, a therapist. I
Yes.
still go to a therapist till this day to help better help me bettering and to help me with my emotions, because I still to this day I have problems with anger issues, and from my past, and
Understandable.
I s- I try to face them, and to heal myself in some way. So I use different methods, and this could also be one method to heal yourself, is to speak about your life journey to people who needs to hear it.
Yes, definitely. It can
So
be very
here's,
therapeutic.
yeah, to talk about it, and to share about it, to write about it, to paint about it. You can also paint your emotions, but to just let that thing that carries on people's chest has to come out, and to not judge it, just to accept it, and to forgive it.
And be
Forgiveness
able,
is a big
forgiveness
part.
is a very big part, but I agree. And also put yourself in a place where you can feel all the hard stuff little by little and process it,
Yeah,
because it's there. You cannot just avoid it, because if you're avoiding it, you will use other methods, so maybe sex, drugs, overeating, alcohol, or other ways, just to numb it and calm it down, but it's still there. So it's like you cannot
yeah,
suppress it. You need to, like you said, you need to get it out in a healthy way and process it, even though if it hurts like hell,
yeah,
which it probably will be doing, but it's going to be so much better when you get through it.
mm, absolutely.
Um, I think that's very interesting what you've been saying, and it's very brave of you to be so honest.
And
Is there any?
I
I
have,
was think, yeah.
there is one more important topic that I want to touch on.
Mm,
Uh, that is connected with spirituality in a big way. So under these years of addiction of drugs and alcohol, there was also an addiction to pornography.
Yeah, that can happen too.
So for many men around the world, this is a big issue to be addicted to sex and pornography. So that was also a addiction I had to face and to deal with. So that led me up to 2017. I stumbled on a website that was called yourbrainonporn.com. So I went to this website, and that led me into another section that was called Semen Retention NoFap Movement. It was basically a fellowship of men, guys, who is practicing abstinence from sex and pornography and masturbation. So that made me question myself and my own problems with this. And as the same method I used quitting drugs, with the same tools, I quit also my addiction to pornography and masturbation. That was just hurting myself and taking so much power and life from me. So from that year, 2017, I've been not engaging in porn sites or masturbation at all, because that has uh, led to a destruction for many years before.
I don't think that many people maybe are aware of it or even think like that you can be addicted to that as well, you know. But it's also a very, how do you say, fast way to some dopamine and good feelings, obviously. But
Yes.
I don't think that people are very aware of that. So it's actually
No,
good
this
that
is
you
a
brought it up.
it's a very strong topic that doesn't really get talked about so much, especially here in the north,
No,
in
probably not
Scandinavia.
at all. No, I don't think so either. And actually, many places not been talking about that much because it's very, yeah, it's something very private, obviously, and people will obviously be, I'm
Yeah,
guessing, embarrassed about talking about it as well and admitting that they have a problem like that. But it's a very normal problem. But I don't think that
yeah.
people maybe see it as a problem and is aware of it in that way.
No, it's very normalized, but I personally, for me, why I chose this is it destroyed my life in so many ways, and my outlook on women and sexuality was very bad for many years, and I had to take this journey to re- to find out what is healthy for me, and I want a healthy outlook on sexuality and on women. And this modern day society is so over sexualized, and
Yeah, it
I
is.
felt that this is not good for me. So yeah, so it's very important topic to bring up, so more men can
Mm,
find
it is.
this and heal themselves.
And while we are on it, what kind of other habits have helped you stay clean and improved your life, do you think?
I would say training to exercise is a big part of my life to feel better and to get healthy dopamine and to just overall feel good. And that comes in hand with eating good food as well, to have the nutrition. I try to eat very conscious and very aware of not to take processed food inside of me, but I'm just a human being. Sometimes I fall for chocolate and candy, and but I try to limit that in some occasions. But for the most time, I eat very clean and healthy, and drink a lot of water. And if you look into the spirituality aspects, I pray a lot. I do a lot of affirmations to the universe. Uh, I try to act good in my behavior towards other people. I try to be humble as possible, to not to be so much caught in my ego, and to be present in the now. But it's a balance every day. I have to have a choice to which path should I go today. Is it the bad, wrong path or the good path? I have to always uh, go on the good path, but some days I slip and I maybe sit on the couch and eat chips and watch Netflix, so I'm not
We all do.
perfect. Uh, and yeah, but I try to be conscious to be a good human being because I know what is good and what is not good for me. Because inside of me, I have a conscious, and that conscious is connected to God. And when I do something bad for myself, I always feel it directly that I should stay away from it. So I cannot lie to myself anymore.
It seems to me that you have
Yeah.
worked and come to a place where you have so much self-awareness, which is very amazing and it's extremely good.
Yeah.
And that's I can just tell to people that to come to a place like that, it requires a lot of inner work with yourself. It does take a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of discipline. And I think that as well when
Discipline for sure.
yeah, it does. I mean, I've been through some of it myself and I can relate to a lot in what you are saying. And I think that as well, um, how do you handle dark thoughts or times today when it comes to we are so exposed to other people who, for example, are drinking, or if you see somebody is using drugs, how do you stop yourself from not relapsing? Because after being using drugs for so many years, it must be hard. Or it could be.
It is. I still get tempted from time to time, but I have to play this tape in my head to to uh, to play this tape and think what will happen if I choose to pick up uh, these substances of alcohol or something else. Maybe not in the beginning. It would be not so hurtful. It could be very enjoyable, but in the long run, it could lead up to something really bad. And I know for myself that I cannot lie to myself. I know that I like things that makes me feel good, and
Very normal.
I find resentments. I found not resentment, but I always find excuses to still do them when it's bad for me, and then it's too late. Then I need something else to help me, and that's a higher power. God needs to come and help me to remove that.
And
So
um
it's
and
I have to be
hopefully,
very vigilant and cautious.
yeah, and again, discipline. And I guess also you have a support system around you, like you said, your therapist and at
Yeah,
least someone, which helps, I'm guessing.
I don't. My girlfriend is also sober and clean from alcohol, and most of my friends today don't use. I don't. Uh, s- I don't have any friends who use that anymore, and some of them are dead, and some of them are still using, and I see them as just prisoners of themselves, of the addiction. I see that they are still where they are now when we were 20 years old. And
Yeah, exactly.
my life is just improving, and I get to evolve much more than other people who are in addictions. They stayed at the same level, and that's really scary for me to
It's
think
very
about.
sad, you know. They are still
Yeah,
stuck in that loop, and they haven't, unfortunately, got to a place like you did back in 2009, when you actually had to change, you had
yeah,
to choose. If I'm gonna have a good life or even a future, if not, you maybe might have been dead today. Who knows? I,
yeah.
and I think that now we can go to. You moved to Åland, and what did you find there, and how is your life different today? Because it seems to me that you have been really worked yourself to have a girlfriend and a family, and you have a good job now, and you have really worked to a place where you have your life in, I would say, a very good order compared to how it could have been and where
Yeah,
you were.
I took some risk uh, to go where I am today, but life is a risk-taking place, and I like that, to challenge myself. But why I am here in this place is both. The biggest reason is, of course, that I found my partner, my soul connection, and the love of my life. Uh, and she is from here and been living here for many years. And I took the decision to move here for that
Nice.
sake. But also, I came up to a point that I had seen and done everything in Stockholm, so I needed some uh, new adventure and a new other place to try out. I wanted to experiencing a more calmer and better place, because I think the energies in Stockholm is very bad right now. I needed to reconnect with the nature more.
What does peace mean to you then?
Peace means many things, but mostly is peace with myself. And I still try to work on that. It's not every day I feel that peace with myself, but that is my main focus, to feel good about myself. Peace can also be have a how do you say it, a place to be that can be peaceful.
Yeah, you can find peace in a lot of
And
different
I
ways.
think I found that here in Åland.
I'm glad to hear that. It's very important to
Yes.
be in a safe and peaceful environment, and helps a lot with the healing process as well. And I was thinking now some
Yes.
reflection, and so people also can, yeah, when they hear this podcast, they will probably get some motivation, inspiration, and to help other people as well, which is very good. Some of the point. What would you say to your younger self today?
I would say don't judge yourself so hard for your mistakes. Everything happens for a reason. And I would say to myself that you are stronger than you think you are. And try to give yourself some love and understanding. That
Very,
would I say to my younger self.
very good answer. And what's the biggest lesson from your life, do you think?
That's a good question. The biggest lesson is not to take life so seriously, to have fun, to enjoy this beautiful ride we are on, and don't get so caught up in the ego.
I totally agree with that one. Well, why do you think it's so hard for people to get out of addiction?
It's so hard because first most it has to do because you got to change what makes you feel good with another thing that makes you feel good, but it's not on the that doesn't kill you. You need to exchange that, but that takes some time. And I think that you just have to yeah, it, change the environment you are in and the people around it as well. You have
Yes.
to
It's a lot of things you have to change,
yeah,
and like you said, when you also have to change friends and change things that is your support system, not necessarily good for you though, but you have to change that, and you have to change things that you are familiar with and you feel safe in a way. It makes sense why it's so hard. And also you have all the biological aspects as well when it comes to the drugs and why they are addictive in the first place. So, but
yeah,
changing life, I mean, I would say life changing things for all human beings is hard, because we are very familiar and comfortable and in our comfort zones, and go out of them and something that is unfamiliar, getting new friends, getting we can all know what is not good for us, but it's a long journey to admit it, and actually change things
it
and
is.
create and build a new life. It's not everyone have the fortitude to do it. That's just unfortunately how it is.
No,
And
you have, as you say, take some risk and get out of your comfort zone and trust yourself that you can do it. Find that inner strength
Exactly.
and believe in yourself that you're stronger than you think you are. Find that God inside of you. Or if you don't believe
Yes.
in God, find something else you believe in.
I agree. I agree. It's like you want to change and survive so much you want to breathe. And you just do that automatically. But you really need to
Yeah,
want a change as well. And I was thinking as well, what would you say
exactly.
to someone? Yeah, I agree. And what would you say to someone who is still stuck in the addiction right now in that type of life?
I would say don't give up. Try to reach out. Uh, if you really want to change your life and to be free from addiction, there is a lot of help outside. Uh, you can start just to speak about it to a close friend. Maybe that friend can take you to a 12-step meeting, or you could talk to a therapist, but to expose yourself and to uh, be honest that you have a problem. And that is the first step. And then there will be other forces that will be helping you out. But as you said, you cannot uh, quit an addiction if you don't want the help yourself.
No, it's too hard. It's too hard. And
Yeah.
I was. Do you have any recommendation, someplace to contact some, I don't know, telephone or a group that we can put in the show notes maybe later for people in Sweden at least?
Of course, the I don't have the exact the the numbers or anything, but there is if you just Google Narcotics Anonymous and your city you live in, you will be headed to a website directly that has all the numbers and all the addresses of the meetings taking place in that city. And there is practically a meeting in every city globally nowadays. It's so worldwide. So
Yeah, it's a
even
huge
in small
problem everywhere.
towns, yeah,
Yeah, very
there's
true.
help everywhere. Yeah.
That's good.
Online meetings as well. If you don't feel like taking place physically, there's also online meetings you
Oh,
can
there is.
go into as well.
That's very good. And I was thinking as well, is there anything else you want to talk about? Or I have one more question left.
I just want to say that these times we're living in, it's a really, yeah, it's a time of change and a time of we are supposed to leave our bad history and to evolve to something better because um, it's a spiritual war going on and we have to choose which side we want to be on right now. It's so obvious which path uh, some are taken and some are not. But I personally choose the light side of this world and try to do good and choose to do good. And I want to inspire more people to choose that path and to wake up more people to the truth of what's going on, and to help others to, first of all, to help themselves. Then we can help others, because
I
there is
thought,
a big darkness that wants us stuck on a low vibration, and we need to rise our vibration so we can get out of this prison.
it's, I totally agree with that, and it's like you can see that that's why a lot of things is happening so much around the world. It always has, but
Yeah,
I think that the consciousness for humankind now is starting to evolve to a higher frequency and, like
yeah,
you said, and vibe and dimension in a way. So, and when it comes to that, everything starts with yourself, the inner work you do for yourself, like you said, and then the world will
exactly.
be a better place. And that's everywhere in all the spirituality communities right now. People are starting to think more about how they want to live for themselves, what's healthy for themselves and their loved ones and their families. People are more self-aware about those type of things now. I think that's very important
Yeah,
too. And I had one more question, which I ask everyone on the podcast, and
of
the
course.
word, and that will be the word fortitude means strength. What kind of state of mind, mental qualities, or personal techniques have you used and relied on most throughout your life?
Techniques that I've used. Um,
Yeah, or qualities, or
I would say discipline. I have a very strong discipline if in everything I put myself into, whether it's in graffiti or my art or my other disciplines, but to do it over and over, even if I don't feel like it, doing it, I do it anyway because I know it will give me something more. It will, the result will show up later on. It will not show up immediately. You have to use patience. Patience and discipline, I would say, are my biggest tools I use today to go to the heights of my goals. And
very good.
yeah, that is something I could really, uh, yeah, give out to people who need it.
Perfect, and I totally agree. You will come very far with both. So then I would just say thank you very much for being here and sharing your life journey. And it's been hard, so you're very brave to be so open, and it's perfect for
Of course.
the listeners and
Thank you
myself
very
as well. I
much.
learned a lot. So thank you very much for your time and that you wanted to be a part of
Thank
Fortitude
you
and
for
Flow.
being on this podcast.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
If you liked this episode, it would mean a lot if you liked, shared, and subscribed, and left a comment with any ideas how to improve the podcast. All of this would really help the podcast grow. Thank you for your support.